Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is James and I'm an artist and illustrator. I love to draw and paint, especially in watercolour, and I'm really inspired by nature and animals. Today I'm starting a project that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's an A to Z illustrated poetry book of endangered species. So I'll be starting with painting an Amur Leopard, which is the rarest big cat in the world. So while you watch me paint, I would like to give you my perspective on generative AI and the implications I think it has on the future of art. This is obviously a huge topic at the moment, and it can be such a polarizing subject, although I'm definitely noticing a shift in the overall opinions towards this technology, and I think that's a good sign for us as artists. I've read a lot of comments and heard from other artists that their motivation is being killed by AI. A lot of aspiring artists might feel like there's no real point in pursuing a career in art, or even just trying to improve their skills, because in the future, AI will basically take all the creative jobs. Even though I've had my fair share of AI anxiety, personally, I'm not really worried about it anymore, for a few reasons. Firstly, it's really important to understand that AI can never replace human artists because AI doesn't actually create art. Art is the expression of human creative skill and imagination. Real art carries emotional power, it has soul. No matter how technically impressive AI-generated images become, they can never really be considered art. Okay, but you might say that doesn't really matter. Companies don't really care about the definition of art, and at the end of the day, most companies care more about their bottom line. So if AI saves them money, then of course they'll use it, and artists and illustrators will lose their jobs. The thing is, it's not actually so easy for big companies to use AI-generated images. Like, whenever companies have tried to, they come up against a whole host of issues. Generative AI is actually super restrictive, like it has a lot of limitations in what it can actually generate, and of course it still makes a ton of mistakes. Then if you want to change a small thing in an image, you can't just go in and easily edit that without having a level of artistic skill and knowledge of different software. It ends up taking so long to edit out the mistakes that it's just more efficient to hire an artist from the get-go. Another thing is that AI images can't actually be copyrighted themselves, and that's a serious issue for companies who want to protect their brand. Copyright and licensing is actually so important, and companies pay artists for those exclusive rights to use their artwork. I think it's becoming clearer that the public simply doesn't have a good opinion of AI. Whenever people find out that AI images or videos have been used by companies, it usually results in a fair bit of backlash. These days, it seems that a lot of the AI ads you come across are from scammers, and they have this kind of spammy vibe to them. There's more of a negative stigma being attached to AI now, and for most companies, their image is so important, and to risk cheapening the brand by using AI just isn't really worth it. I think that when generative AI first kind of exploded on the scene a couple of years ago, it seemed that this technology was going to grow exponentially. But actually, it looks like now it's reached a plateau, and it's kind of just stagnating. The funny thing is that AI is actually now being trained on AI images, because there's so much slop out there at this stage that it far outweighs any fresh, quality, human-made art that can be fed into the datasets. This might actually end up creating a kind of negative feedback loop that lowers the quality of the AI images over time. I also think that we've been experiencing a kind of Wild West of AI over the last few years, but that slowly and surely the law is catching up to these AI companies. It takes so long for regulations to come into place, and because the technology advanced so quickly in the beginning, it's been really hard for artists to protect themselves. There are actually a few ongoing lawsuits against AI companies, and I really think that we're going to start seeing more copyright issues being raised and regulations being put on where these companies get their images to feed the datasets. AI doesn't actually create anything new. It doesn't have an imagination, and it can't rationalize the way a human can. So when you type a prompt, the AI pulls from a massive dataset of images that it's been trained on and mixes some of those images together to create a sloppy mess. The problem is that so many of these images in the datasets have been scraped from the internet without permission from the artists, and I really think that this will cause massive issues for AI companies in the future. I'm sure many of you have heard about the recent Ghibli-style photo transformations that were trending a few weeks ago with the new ChatGPT 4.0 image generator, where people were uploading their photos for them to be turned into Ghibli-style images. Well, this only lasted a few days before restrictions were placed on the model and you couldn't ask for Ghibli images anymore. I suspect that OpenAI realised that they were playing with fire, and I wouldn't be surprised if they're now facing legal action for using all those copyrighted images to train their model. It's really clear how valuable new artwork is to these AI companies, but I think that now they're realising they can't just train their AI however they want without coming up against public backlash. I feel that it's really important to be aware of where you upload your artwork and to make it as difficult as possible for companies to use it to train their AI models. Like a lot of other artists, I actually removed all my art from Facebook and Instagram after Meta announced that they were training their AI with users' public posts. To be honest, for me this was more out of principle, and it might seem like an extreme step for some people. I mean, if we don't share our work online, how will we ever gain any following as an artist? There are other ways to protect yourself by using tools like Glaze and Nightshade on your artwork, which are basically just filters designed to confuse the AI and lower the quality of its output. So yeah, I really don't think that the threat to artists from AI is actually that big. I think the biggest threat we face is more of a mental one. Basically feeling depressed about AI to the point that we give up and we don't pursue a path in art. I really feel for the young creative people just coming out of school who feel like they don't have a future in art, and if that's you, I just want to tell you not to give up. Never stop making art and never stop doing what you love. And that doesn't just apply to young people, it applies to everyone who loves drawing, painting or making music. Whether it's just a hobby or you want to make a career out of it, don't let AI stomp out your creativity. Human creativity will never become irrelevant or obsolete. I really believe that the value of art will only grow, especially as the sheer amount of AI slop grows. Find your own style and lean into it. Find ways to distinguish yourself from AI. Try working in traditional mediums, or if you work digitally, you can hide small details in your work that sets it apart. Think about the artists who do those amazing hyper-realistic portraits that take weeks, months, or even years to complete. You might say, why even bother when you can just take a high-resolution photo? That's exactly the point though. Knowing it was drawn by hand is what makes it so incredible. That kind of artwork isn't just about how the final image looks, it represents unbelievable patience, determination and human skill, years of practice and dedication to the craft. Art isn't just about making pretty images either. To a parent, a child's scribbles can be a beautiful masterpiece. There's more meaning and emotion in those messy scribbles than any AI model could ever hope to create. In a sense, AI images are a bit like fast fashion or a cheap watch you can buy on AliExpress for a couple of bucks. It's mass-produced, tacky and disposable. There will always be a market for handcrafted quality products. In fact, the more cheap tat exists, the more sought after real quality becomes. I just feel that our society is reaching a saturation point when it comes to AI, and that a lot of people are getting sick of it at this point. I think that we're going to start seeing a real pushback, not just from artists but from the general public. It's not just AI either. I think that in general, people are craving more meaning in life. We're constantly being bombarded with this cheap and empty content. It honestly sometimes feels like a dystopian nightmare where we're forced to consume this mindless stream of nothingness. I think that there's never been a better time to start creating. Now's not the time to despair. We artists are on the front line. We have to keep making our art. If we don't want AI to replace human creativity, then we have to safeguard it. We have to keep that fire burning. So, I hope that what I've said has resonated with you, but let me know in the comments how you feel about generative AI and if your art has been affected by it. I'm only just at the beginning of what I hope will be a long YouTube journey, and if you enjoy this kind of content, then consider subscribing to my channel. I made this channel a couple of years ago and I've only ever uploaded a couple of short videos, but recently I've been thinking more about making some longer form videos like this and maybe doing some painting tutorials or process videos where I just share some of my thoughts. Thanks for sticking around to the end and for giving this video a thumbs up. See you soon and stay creative.